So we have come back with a new topic and a very interesting topics about orphans and about humanitarian relief for orphans. And this is one of the most interesting topics for people across the globe, especially in a world of additional wars, in a world that is not stable, in a world that people stop trusting each other, and in a world where people are continuously looking for their self-interest and to advance their interest on the account of others. This is a situation that is very sad and that is a very unfortunate. And on this topic, orphans and how orphans becomes orphans, I shall speak. So there are different accidents that can happen to an individual, and this individual can have some kind of family. And this family, if they have kids, they become orphans, and in many cases, they struggle to carry on in their lives without the support of their family. Let us look at the Syrian case, where there was more than 500,000 people killed. Do you think these people did not have kids? Do you think these people did not have kids? Do you know that many of these kids even struggled to enter school and to carry on with their education, their basic education? Do you understand that this has actually happened as a direct result of war? Regardless of the father or of the parents' political position, what was the problem of the kids, or why the kids had to suffer? It's a situation that people ask themselves why humanity has become so savage and why humanity has become so ugly. And this is the fact. This is who we are. Even to be honest, even animals do not act in this way. No, and they barely kill each other. First of all, animals barely kill each other, except if they are from a completely different species, as we kill animals to eat them, so it's fine. But if animals, they don't kill each other, and if someone dies, you can see that the other kids of the animals, whatever those kids, could be a cub or whatever, they carry on to grow within the same community. With humans, you see that there is a lack of support. There is no automatic mechanism that if someone, if a parent die or has suffered a serious damage, his kids and his family will be taken care of. There is no automatic way for doing it. You need to go and find an institution, and in many cases, this institution can provide you with minimal support, and sometimes it does not give you the whole support that you could find in your family. So there is support in terms of emotional support. There is a support in terms of emotional support. There is a support in terms of financial support, and there is the support in terms of letting you dream about the future and how your future can happen. So these kind of aspects, and in order to cherish them and promote them within a child well-being, your child has to get some support mechanisms. The world has changed, and I don't think we are becoming more humanitarian, and we are becoming more self-interested, and our community is really becoming more fragmented. And if we talk about the concept of resilience, that we are resilient to shocks, and I think we are not resilient to shocks. If you have a child, you should always think about think about him more than any other time. How I can care for him, what will happen to him if it happens to me, how I can ensure that he can have a good life. And I emphasize on the role of extended families. That's extended families. So if you are coming from an extended family, especially in the Middle East, because in the West they have sorted these issues, even in many places around the world, these people sorted the West or Germany, any country in Europe or the United States or any developed country and so on, they have proper institution that orphans can go to. But even with these institutions, even with the great focus of these institutions that they will promote the child well-being and the child health, some of them, there is some level of stigma that these orphan houses are not as good as being within a family, even in the West. So it's a sad situation where someone get an accident or become part of a problem that he did not create, or he was not involved in, and he has to suffer the damages. What I encourage that we really think about orphanage in a very serious way. There is a lot of this is a very big problem, especially in terms of wars. We have in the Middle East, I think this is a very big problem. We have orphans coming from Iraq. We have orphans from Syria. We have orphans from Egypt. Different at large group. These people would always need to be supported in order to carry on with their life. For the Syrian kids we see, and even Palestinians also, they are orphans. So I have no clue, but I think the video is just to emphasize on a very strong message. And the strong message is, you should really think about orphans in any conflict situation. You should always think about orphans in any accident situation. I have a friend who has suffered an accident, and when he suffered an accident, basically a car ran over him, just hit him, and caused some damages on his back and lower limbs. So he stayed home maybe for 6 months, getting these treatments and trying to let me say, trying to become better and trying to become better and trying to get back to his health. And his company continued to support him, at least partially, and his family continued to support him until he come back to the work environment again. Think about if he had a wife and 2 children. Think about if he was completely gone, if there was no proper social net to support him and to provide him with a proper care and to provide his family with proper care, then he would not be able to absorb the shocks that he might suffer in life. And I asked many people many times, maybe personally, I asked many people to support me at a particular situation. And yes, I am old enough and I have been working enough, but I don't think personally, I am not an orphan by all means, but I think this is a situation where we should have a proper social net, and I think the quality of a society can only be measured, the cohesiveness of a society. How strong is this society? How cohesive is this society? What is the level of interaction and connectivity within the society members? I think we can measure. I think Bill Gates say you can look at. I think Bill Gates says you can look at the quality of a particular society by looking at the age of children who dies under the age of 5. And I say no. I think the quality of the society, it's about how their orphans progress in their life. So if these orphans manage to carry on with their lives normally, I think this is a great society to be living in, regardless whether it was the richest society or whether it was the poorest society. How did the orphans that happen to be within the society? And I talk even about societies that are coming in terms of crisis. So we are talking about the Syrian community, or the Syrian diaspora, or maybe the Iraqis. How strongly they stayed connected after a particular shock or a particular damage. So that was my talk about orphans and taking care of orphans. And yeah, I think this should be an indicator of how the society progress. Forget about income, forget about employment, forget about unemployment, forget about all of these things. It's only about one thing: how the orphans within this society progress. Do they suffer a collateral damage, or do they manage to carry on with their life as the risk did not happen? This shows how self-interested and self-centered this society, and how much it is actually how they put the interest of others in front of their interest, or how they value the interest of others, or how they value the life of others. If you are in a community that your life is valued, if you are in a community that your life is respected, this is the kind of community that you would like to be living in. And should be a new measure, really a new measure, even for people who are doing this humanitarian crisis and so on, how orphans progress in their life after a particular shock. That was my talk on orphans and orphanage, and I wish you a great evening, and I shall say salam.